Dear Greg, my grandpa is way overweight, has diabetes, high blood pressure, and bad knees, but he still won't take care of himself. He has a bunch of pills he's supposed to take for his diabetes and his blood pressure, but he takes them when he feels like it. So a single month's prescription lasts him for like 6 months. His doctors say if he keeps this up, he won't live much longer. I've talked to him about taking better care of himself, and so have his children, but he doesn't listen. It's really annoying to watch him kill himself slowly like this. It's not that he forgets to take his medicine. He just waves his hand at us and says he'll be all right. What can I do to make him take this seriously?
I know that a big part of you means well here. You are concerned about your grandfather's health. And on the surface, that sounds like such a good thing. What could possibly be wrong with that? But there is something wrong with it. And I encourage you to listen carefully here as I say this, because I'm not criticizing you. I'm giving you an opportunity to learn a principle that most people never learn. As long as your grandfather is in his right mind and can make his own decisions, even if he makes them stupidly, his health and the way he takes his medication, or the way he eats or exercises or whatever, is none of your business. It really isn't. If he were 4 years old, and if he were your child, or if he were mentally disabled and needed a guardian, then things would be different. But those conditions do not exist. You're trying to make him do the right thing. And nobody has the right to do that to anybody else, because the most important principle in life is the law of choice, which states that we all have the right to choose what we think and say and do. And we have that right even when we choose poorly. We can only be happy when we make our own choices. Imagine what the world would be like if other people stopped us every time we did something they didn't like. We'd be nothing but objects controlled by those people. And that would be completely incompatible with genuine happiness. Now, I understand the objections. You're thinking, but he's killing himself. Yes, I know. But if you use that as an excuse to stop him, what will the next excuse be to control his behavior or someone else's behavior? Would we force people to behave in a certain way because they might hurt themselves, for example, or then because a particular behavior is right, for example? And who would determine what is right? Well, that would be us, wouldn't it? Many repressive governments have ruled under exactly that kind of reasoning, and millions have died using that justification. I'm not exaggerating. Once we start down the road of controlling other people, it becomes a slippery slope with a deadly destination. Oh, but now you're thinking, you don't understand. We're talking about his life. But I do understand. We have such an obsession in our society with prolonging life. And I'm here to say that there are far worse things than death. If our hearts are beating, but we don't feel unconditionally loved, we exist in a state of living death. And that's no way to live. How long your grandfather lives, although that remains an important issue, is much less important than how happy he is during the time he's alive. So, what can you do about that, about his happiness? We'll talk about that in our next session.